Where do we come from? How did the world around us take shape? These questions drive our need to understand our origins and the universe we inhabit. Our planet Earth is unique, yet shares its history with others. Over time, it developed its individuality, evolving in a way no other planet has. Earth is the only planet known to harbor life. One species emerged with the ability to dominate and shape its environment. Humans despise ignorance, seeking answers to profound questions. But with so many uncertainties, can we truly claim to know our planet? Humankind approached this through philosophy and geology. The study of the lithosphere provides insights to trace Earth back to its formation. Today, Earth's history is written, but it evolves with new discoveries. Earth was not always the serene blue planet we see today. Its birth and infancy took place amid chaos, in extreme heat, a hellish crucible unlike any other. To understand Earth, we must travel back 4.57 billion years to its formation. Only then can we grasp its position and significance in the universe. About 13.8 billion years ago, all matter in the universe came into existence in an infinitesimally small atom. This event is known as the Big Bang. Matter, energy, space, and time were compressed to extreme density. Temperatures were unimaginably high in this searing environment. 30 minutes after the Big Bang, the universe reached 300 million degrees and nearly zero density. For hundreds of thousands of years, radiation prevented heavier elements from forming, leaving only hydrogen and helium nuclei. By 300,000 years after the Big Bang, the temperature dropped to 3,000 degrees. New atomic bonds formed, and the universe became transparent, releasing the cosmic microwave background radiation. 1 million years after the Big Bang, the universe was homogeneous at 173 degrees and devoid of stars. Massive clouds of hydrogen and other atoms gradually gathered under gravity. These were protogalaxies, where matter would collapse to form stars. The first galaxies emerged around 12 billion years ago, appearing as isolated islands of matter. Stars began to form everywhere, and after a few billion years, the first galaxy clusters came into being. Some new galaxies gathered into larger groups, forming embryonic structures of what would become the Milky Way. Around 6.8 billion years ago, local superclusters formed, each containing hundreds of billions of stars. Among them, our local group of galaxies began to take shape. About 4.6 billion years ago, our solar system began to form with the birth of the Sun, its central star. Interstellar gas clouds, mainly hydrogen, collapsed under gravity, coalescing into a dense, hot protostar that would become the Sun. Temperatures at the center reached 10 million degrees, initiating nuclear fusion. The Sun's core burned 4 million tons of hydrogen per second, generating a furnace at 15 million degrees Celsius. Photons took 500,000 years to reach the surface. Surrounding the newborn Sun was a disk of gas and dust, from which planets began to form. Some particles clumped into larger masses, forming Earth and other terrestrial planets, while more massive envelopes formed gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn. The young Earth resembled a pressure cooker, covered in intensely hot, dense water at 200 degrees Celsius. Its primitive atmosphere, loaded with water vapor and carbon dioxide, exerted immense pressure. The forming crust prevented heat from escaping, leading to rapid cooling and intense rains. These downpours filled the oceans entirely within just 1,000 years. Yet these oceans were not permanent. Asteroids over 5 kilometers in diameter frequently collided with Earth, vaporizing vast portions of the oceans. This cycle continued until the bombardment subsided. While comets and asteroids delivered some water, their overall effect was largely destructive. Earth's primitive atmosphere contained water, creating dynamic, violent early conditions. The Earth consisted of large basaltic plates and proto-continents. Migrating gas giants disrupted the asteroid and Kuiper belts, doubling meteor impacts over millions of years. The Moon, Mars, Mercury, and Earth experienced intense collisions. Surfaces were pockmarked with craters. Some impacts were larger than France, vaporizing parts of the oceans. This heavy bombardment reshaped the planet, bringing buried chemical elements to the surface. Interaction between ocean water and the atmosphere created opportunities for chemical transformations, a doorway to life. As the bombardment decreased, impacts added water to the oceans. Dissolved carbon dioxide made the oceans highly acidic, while unoxidized iron gave them a greenish-brown hue. The environment began to stabilize, preparing for life's emergence. With a pale pink sky and Earth not yet the deep blue planet we know today. Volcanic gases rising from the mantle released elements such as chlorine, while meteorites delivered molten silicates. These processes contributed to the salinization of oceans. Other elements eroded from land and were transported to the sea by wind and water. The oceans eventually reached their full volume, and the Earth appeared to settle. This did not prevent the emergence of life. Once water stabilized on a planet, the conditions were ripe for life to begin. Life relies on water and carbon chemistry, with the carbon atom being ideal for forming complex, long, and diverse molecules. However, organic molecules are unstable at high temperatures, and life required temperatures to drop below 150 degrees Celsius. At this stage, life was purely bacterial. The first organic molecules formed through the evaporation of water and chemical reactions in the atmosphere. This prebiotic soup was carried to oceans and organized into membrane-bound droplets called conservates. Bacteria fed on the chemical transformations of organic molecules within these water environments. Scarcity of resources eventually led to primitive predation, an early step toward natural selection, allowing the fittest traits to survive. Conservates were closed systems with compositions distinct from their surroundings, lacking proteins, enzymes, and RNA, and therefore did not yet possess the hallmark features of true cells. This process unfolded in two stages. First, purely chemical mechanisms, and then biological activity. The second stage led to the formation of protobionts, lipid-bound capsules containing sugars, lipids, and proteins, precursors to protocells. Dependent initially on minerals, protobionts later evolved autotrophic metabolism via enzymes and ribosomes, increasing in mass and dividing, resembling bacterial structures. Here, all life's universal common ancestor LUCA emerged. LUCA was a mineral-dependent cell trapped in the micropores of alkaline hydrothermal vents. It carried out a redox-based metabolism and could reproduce. It could not feed on pre-existing organic matter, but its primitive ribosome and enzymes facilitated nucleotide metabolism. When its membranes could synthesize lipids and proteins, it became a free-living prokaryote. Bacteria spread across the planet, some becoming heterotrophic, releasing methane and oxygen. Continental cores formed belts of green volcanic rocks along with erosion products. Komatiites resulted from massive melting, contributing to the formation of early mountains that were immediately eroded. Plate tectonics drove the assembly of supercontinents. Valbra, the first supercontinent, arose from the convergence of the Kapval and Pilbara cratons, the only preserved early continental crusts. Single-celled aquatic organisms formed the first food chains. Cyanobacteria, lacking nuclei, carried out photosynthesis. Chromoplasm enabled photosynthesis and nitrogen fixation, while centroplasm held DNA. Photosynthesis, powered by chlorophyll pigments, converted sunlight into chemical energy. Oxygenic photosynthesis was performed by cyanobacteria and eukaryotes, while anoxygenic photosynthesis occurred in oxygen-poor environments among bacteria like green sulfur bacteria. Cyanobacteria lived in stromatolites, slow-growing, semi-living mineral structures, increasing only 0.4 millimeters per year. These colonies survived under dim sunlight, volcanic activity, and lava flows. Early aquatic organisms converted water and carbon dioxide into carbohydrates, releasing oxygen as a byproduct. This oxygen was toxic to anaerobic organisms at the time. It first reacted with iron, remaining in the oceans, and only after 1 billion years did oxygen accumulate in the atmosphere. Aerobic evolution began with enzymes that neutralized oxygen's toxic effects, eventually leading to organisms relying on oxygen for energy production. Following supercontinent Valbra, the paleocontinent Ure emerged from the collision of volcanic island arcs. Continental crust developed, the upper mantle's composition changed, magmatic differentiation increased, and the planet cooled. Subduction angles increased, new continental land masses formed, and water hydrated parts of the mantle, shaping new continental crust. Continents moved with such force that they eventually assembled into a new supercontinent. Over more than 1 billion years, Earth transformed in composition and appearance. The hellish period ended, and life developed in relative calm. This life, however, would face new challenges, adapt, and continue evolving. Our journey ends here for today. Are you curious how Earth looked 3 billion years ago? See you in the next video. If you liked this video, don't forget to like it. We will gain a lot of knowledge together with the videos I share. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my new videos. See you in the next video.